The Buddhist sermon for today is given by the Venerable Beragama Piyarathana Thera.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Homage to the worthy one, the blessed one, the fully enlightened Buddha. Dear friends in Dhamma, today I would like to share some words of wisdom of the Buddha with you. The most important aspect of our life is to learn about ourselves. So when we want to learn about ourselves, the most important organ or most important faculty we have to consider in our life is the mind. Buddha has explained the importance of the mind in the first two verses of Dhammapada. Mano pubbhangama dhamma mano setta manomaya. All the phenomena of the world or existence, the mind is the forerunner, the precursor, and mind is the supreme leader. And mind is the one who makes the world. And if somebody acts or speaks or thinks with a pure mind, speaks or acts, he will have the benefits or the results which is good because his intention, because his mind is pure. Similarly, if one acts, also speaks, or thinks with an impure mind, that impure mind can bring suffering and pain and difficulties. As the same way, when an oxen is carrying a heavy load in a cart, so that each step he is moving forward will bring him pain because of the heavy load. So here the impure mind, impure thoughts, impure words and impure actions are the heavy load we have loaded in the cart. So why do we want to learn about the mind? To understand ourselves, we need to understand the working of our mind. And also we have our own personal choices, our own personal struggles. So we have internal enemies such as lust, anger, hatred, delusion, and greed. These kinds of internal enemies cause us so much suffering. And also, we need to know about our mind in order to cultivate, develop, in order to concentrate, we need to develop a pure mind. And also, in order to gain calm and peacefulness for our life, we need to develop our mind. And our mind is originally pure. Pure in the sense it is not completely free from defilements, yet it has certain amount of purity when we are reborn into this world. So in order to reach this free nature, pure nature in our mind, the key to bring this free and pure nature in our mind is to cultivate and to develop the mind. So, the way we perceive the world, the way we understand the world, way we interpret the world, sometimes bring us misery, sometimes bring us sadness, sometimes bring us happiness as well. So in order to have a better and brighter and happier life, we need to understand the mind, how it working, how it used to work. We need to have clear understanding of the working of the mind. So meditation is the best tool, best equipment we can use in order to understand the mind. And meditation can be applied by any religious person because it is religiousless. Let me give you an example. Let's say Islamic faith follower, Christian or Catholic faith follower, Buddhist follower. We all breathe. No matter whatever your religious label is, everybody breathe. So in Buddhism, the meditation based on breathing can be done by any religious person. So doing a breathing meditation per se does not you become a Buddhist. So then you can be aware of the in-breath and out-breath, and in this way you can develop a concentration in your mind. So mind is like a mirror. All the phenomena happening around and all the things happening inside your mind, all that mirrored back to the society, or from the society you also take from them. So in order to understand our mind, we need to understand the working of the mind. So mind is a non-physical phenomena. It can perceive, it can think, it can ponder, it can recognize, it can experience, and also it can react to different environments, react to different situations, and mind also create itself kinds of hindrances. For example, when we have so much desire for certain things, for pleasures, or to receive certain kind of experiences, and also when we have resentment or dislike, anger, and sloth and torpor, restlessness, doubt, these are some of the mental factors that can hinder the development of the mind. They are not just impersonal factors functioning on their own way, but when we have the desires, and when our desires cannot be fulfilled, then we have anger, we have frustration. So in this situation, the guarding or the protecting, having a clear comprehension and mindful about how the thoughts are happening in your mind, how your attention is drawn away. So the mind is the most important factor in our life, and who can guard your mind? Let's see, who can guard your mind? Can your parents guard your mind? Can your teachers guard your mind? Can your spiritual friends or monks or priests, can they guard your friends? No. Who is responsible for guarding and protecting and developing and cultivating your mind? It is you who is responsible. Nobody can protect you on behalf of you. If you have the sickness, you need to take the medicine. Your father, brother, sister, they cannot take medicine on behalf of you. So the responsibility of guarding your mind must be on your hands, on your mind. So mind is place you can enter through 6 sense doors. The mind opening keys are in these 6 sense doors. Eye can open our mind, the ear can open our mind, nose can open our mind, tongue can open our mind, and also body and mental phenomena. These are the keys that opens the mind. So when we have a sensation or when we have some perception through eyes, then our mind decide, oh, it's a beautiful view, it's a bad view, ugly view. So I like it, I don't like it. So this kind of opening happens through these 6 senses. Ear also, when we have very nice, sweet, nice songs, oh, I like it. Then maybe if you have some horrible sounds, fearful, terrible sounds, then say, I don't like these noises. So this mind of ours is always, already, is always moving and all, just like which is still. So the mind, as long as it doesn't have any outside temptations, outside any provocations, it is just like still water. When the wind blows, this still water began to shake and create waves, and the wind comes up, the leaves and the trees and all these things flutter. It's due to the wind. So fluttering is happened due to those sense impressions happening in our mind. So these sense impressions by ear, nose, tongue, skin, mind, those mental impressions will bring the fluttering and shakiness of our mind. If we know the true nature of our sense impressions, if we can understand, okay, the thoughts arising in our mind is temporary, and they arise, sustain, and die, because the thoughts in our mind is not permanent, they are impermanent, always changing, not forever. And also mind is like a sponge. It can absorb anything, any experiences, any impressions coming from all these 6 sense bases. It can absorb good or bad, anything. Come into surface of the mind, it become part and parcel of its memory. So Buddha said, Prabhassara midham bhikkhave citta, mind is very luminous. So when the children are born to this world, these children's mind are luminous because their defilements are just hidden. So the most important thing is the luminous mind can be defiled by incoming desires, incoming sensual impressions. The ordinary, uninstructed, unenlightened person can be easily carried away because he is influenced, infected by these defilements, the cravings, the desire, the greed, hatred, delusion, all these kinds of things. Can that person carried away? So in order to understand, comprehend the defilements that is in our mind, we must be mindful, aware, here and now, what is going in your mind. When there's a greed for power or greed for food, you can be aware. When you have greed for nice music or whatever, then you can be aware, okay, in my mind I have this desire. In my mind I have this kind of greed or hatred or delusion, whatever. So we can be aware. We don't need to be slaves of these overpowering, very powerful thoughts. And that is why that Buddha said that training mind is possible, and if it is impossible, I don't teach. So uninstructed person cannot have a development of the mind, because he does not try, he will not make effort to purify, clean his mind. So when a child is born from the mother's womb, initially he have only few desires. Desire to drink milk, desire to get attention of the parents, and desire to have little toys, etc., etc. But once they are grown, like bigger children, they need play cards, play cars, or different types of things, food, different nice things. So what will happen to his luminous mind? It is completely, his mind become more and more greedier, more and more angrier, more and more disappointed. All these defilements will come from outside and polluted his mind. That is why Buddha said, I tell you that for well-instructed disciples of the Noble One, there is a development of mind. So if person is not well instructed, he cannot develop his mind. So getting the good instruction, the meditative instruction from the Buddha's teaching is really important for the mind development, mind cultivation, mind advancement in the mind. So today many people are interested in learning and practicing meditation. The people from all walks of life, in various races, various religions, various backgrounds, various cultures, they can understand how the mind works, regardless of religion, regardless of creed or caste or whatever. Because the working of the mind is similar to all the religions. Whether you are Buddhist or Christian or Hindu, you may have greed. Hindu people may have greed, Buddhist people may have greed, Catholic people may have greed, any person may have greed. When you have a burning desire inside your mind, no matter whatever your religion, the same feeling of burning will experience inside your mind, inside your body. Therefore, we need to understand the workings of the mind, nature of the mind. And having understood the nature and the use of the mind effectively, when we learn these things, we can deal with the life very fruitfully, effectively, usefully. In Vipassana meditation, mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of the feeling, mindfulness of the sensation, mental state and mental objects, and Satipatthana Sutta explain the importance of mindfulness in developing and explaining. So, the sufferings that can arise from the mind when you do not cultivate, when you do not practice meditation. So, there are natural disasters, disease, old age, death. All these are unavoidable. Old age we cannot stop, death we cannot stop, getting sick also we cannot stop. So, these things, unavoidable problems caused by the ignorance, because in order to understand the mind, people are going round and round in the samsaric journey because of their ignorance. So, avoidable problems, there are unavoidable natural disasters, disease, old age and death, and also there are avoidable disasters. Problems caused by ignorance or unskillful action, suffering and modern challenge. So, friends, we need to get rid of unskillful actions and sufferings create from these unskillful actions. If you have anger, that is unskillful thoughts. If you act based on that anger, that create more and more unskillful, unwholesome actions. So in modern society, we are trained to develop more and more unskillful thoughts, unskillful actions by the modern materialism and consumerism and competition and finally the rat race. So, how can we control our mind? If you can pay attention to your mind, thoughts and observe, thought process and observe. And we have the power, we have the energy, we have the ability, the skill to develop the physical environment. Similarly, we have ability, the skill, the power to develop the mental environment. Mind is also an organ where you can develop through meditation, by paying attention, by being aware, by being moment to moment awareness. So, when you want to bring in your life, if you tell your mind, okay, this is what I need, because mind is pro-runner. It's a supercomputer and a super performer. If we give the right directions, if you program the right things inside your brain or inside your mind, tell it the proper way, with the good clear mind, with the concentrated mind, you can achieve and receive or get whatever you want. Because the Buddha said, Chittena niyati loko. The whole world goes according to our mind. So the thoughts are wired together, constantly thinking similar patterns of thoughts, self-thoughts, internal chatter. We see throughout our life there are internal chatters going inside our mind. So mind shapes our behavior. Minds drive your behavior, which create feelings, thoughts, which create totality and reality. So, in order to free our mind from suffering, we need to develop mind free from greed, mind free from hatred, mind free from delusion. When you develop a mind does not having so much desire, so much delusion, so much anger. So Buddha says there are 3 layers in the mind, what is called latent stage. You can see it's called anusaya stage, you can see the tendencies of the mind. Then pariuttana stage, it's called when your mind has come out its own thought process and brings out its own nature. For example, if you take a simile, latent stage of your mind is called anusaya, that where the snake is lying down in the anthill, no harm. And when the snake is like hissing and making the noise, it's like the pariuttana, where the defilements arose in your mind, coming out. And last stage is the cobra in the anthill coming out and try to bite you. So this is the stage of transgression. So defilements lies in our mind dormant, inactive, without displaying any activity. But once it is activated, it's called pariuttana, where defilements go through some stimulus, some encouragement, and it emerges, and through that we create unwholesome thoughts, emotions, volitions, and actions, and then words, so that we create new karma. So the defilement passes beyond purely mental level and motivate unwholesome action of body or speech. So therefore, friends, mind is very important in Buddhism. We must protect the mind like a gem. We will have always the river of information, stream of information coming into mind, polluting our mind. Amidst this kind of very chaotic, very busy situation, it is very important to practice mindfulness, practice meditation, practice other good things, so that we can purify our mind. May the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha bless you and guide you, protect you. Namo Buddhaya.
The Buddhist sermon for today was given by the Venerable Beragama Piyarathana Thera.